The first time I came through those iron gates, it was like walking into a garden wonderland. There was something interesting around every corner, and I knew at that point in time I would own this place. Well, when you work in the city or in a chaotic environment, you get in the car and you drive 40 minutes up here, and by the time you hit the front yard, it's just so serene and so beautiful. And you look out in every single window in this house, there's a beautiful view of the garden. It is literally like living in your own botanical gardens. The house itself, it lends itself to having people over, to entertaining, and also it's a flat property, so it's very rare up here to find something as flat and as large as this property. So what that means for us is we can utilise every part of the 5 acres of this garden. And some of the amazing things that we do here are over Christmas, all the family, extended family will come up here. This is the destination of choice. We've really enjoyed living here, and we feel to a certain extent, because it's such a historic property, it was once the Georgian Guesthouse, and when we came here a lot of it was overgrown with blackberries, so we've spent a lot of time uncovering original stone walls and stone seating, and we really feel to a certain extent we've been caretakers of this property, and we've had the honour of bringing it back to its former glory. So it's a proud moment for us to actually have that honour. When we engage builders and architects to help us redesign the property, we really made sure that we catered for creature comforts like hydronic heating and double glazed windows and those type of things, but we wanted to make sure that we captured the rustic feel of the area and also took advantage of as many of the amazing views of the garden as we could. But we've tried to create something unique, so most of the items here were repurposed. For example, all the flooring comes from a church floor in Geelong. The kitchen bench comes from a wool shed in Geelong. We've used paling to panel some of our walls. We've used cedar to do some of the panelling in the bedroom. We've used workbenches for the sink in the bathroom. So we've tried to be quite creative and make something that felt like home. It's a very practical house in that you can actually come into the house. If you have animals, they can walk in the house, and it doesn't look like you have to clean all the time. So for the purposes of living up here in a country area, it's a very practical house and very functional house as well. And I think it's quite beautiful because it's unique. It's not the kind of house that you'll see in a housing estate or in a designer magazine, but it's something that's very warm and authentic. Well, one of the reasons we purchased this house too was a practical reason. There's also a little cottage that is fully renovated, 2-bedroom cottage that is all on one level, and we thought it would be perfect for my mother, who is elderly, and also for our grown-up children when they come to stay with their partners. When it's not in use, we use it as an Airbnb, and it really does quite well. So that helps us pay some of the bills, and it's a really practical use of a house that would, for most intensive purposes, sit there empty most of the time. I'll really miss this house. It's a difficult decision to sell this place, but it is time to move on. The things that I'll miss the most is the quiet. After living in the city for 25 years, the quiet is something you really appreciate. I will miss a lot of the wildlife around here as well. We've got lots of parrots, and there's lyrebirds that run across the front lawn. We have the occasional deer pay us a visit, and I never cease to be amazed by that. It is a wonderful natural wildlife sanctuary. It's a wonderful property, and we've been privileged to own it.